Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Darkwater Films channel. Take a moment to relax, because today we're going to be discussing color theory and HSL. To begin, color theory is a body of knowledge amassed from centuries, if not millennia, of study. It describes the behavior of colors during the processes of, however, not limited to, mixing, contrast, harmony, color schemes, and color symbolism. Traditional methods tend to be subjective, and therefore a non-exact science. However, modern color theory is generally more objective, even being referred to as color science. Early examples of color theory include Aristotle's On Colors and Claudius Ptolemy's Optics. Fast forward to the 18th century, and the ever-so-famous Sir Isaac Newton begins developing his own theory, inspired by his knowing that light is composed of various colors in a spectrum. He was also able to ascertain that color is not intrinsic to objects, rather, the way the object reflects or absorbs light. It was also around this time that the RYB colors would become the foundation for theories of physical color mixture, specifically regarding pigments and dyes. However, in the late 19th century, English and German scientists were able to establish that color perception is better described in red, green, and blue, or RGB. It is most often represented and modeled through the mixture of three monochromatic lights. Color theory is based in the concept that three primary colors can be used in some capacity to create all other possible colors. As we discussed, these can be red, yellow, blue, red, green, blue, or even others such as cyan, magenta, yellow. However, it should be noted that modern color science does not assert universal primary colors, as no limited combination of colors can produce all other colors. Color is a critical component of filmmaking, content creation, and art as a whole. It can be used to create a thematic shift in characters, represent mental states, or current goals, and even foreshadow eventual fates. Fundamentally, it is the very essence of what emotions are being conveyed on screen, and is usually reflected in the film's average frame colors. For fun, search the average color of every frame for Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and then Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. You'll pick up on a very noticeable difference in average shot brightness and colorfulness, with the latter film being substantially darker in both visuals and themes. Well, now that you know the basics of color theory, let's take a more detailed look at a specific model commonly used on computers all over the world.
The rainbow. Purple through red, and caused by nothing more than water, light, and someone to witness them. But what is it about an arc of color cascading through the sky that keeps and captivates young, old men and women alike? Perhaps the answer is simpler than you think, and you'll have to stick to the end of the video to find out. In the previous Color of Light video, we discussed RGB and even touched on the idea of RYB. But what are these, and how are they used by content creators, filmmakers, and artists from all over the world? Well, today we're going to be diving into one specifically, HSL, or Hue, Saturation, Lightness. A color model commonly seen in image editing software, HSL was developed in the early 70s, and it's based on the RGB color wheel, which is why I recommend you watch this video right here before you come back and finish the rest of this one. But what is it, and how does it actually work? Well, HSL takes the different components of a color and breaks them into three different dimensions. The first, the H, is similar to the x-axis of a graph, whereas the S is similar to the Y and the L the Z. This makes the end result more of a cylinder than a flat circle. Now, I know what you're thinking. That makes HSL three-dimensional, right? Well, yes, it actually does. But how do each of these axes work in cohesion with one another in order to create something like this? Well, to begin with, let's start off with the x-axis. The H, or hue, represents the coordinates on the circle itself on a position from 0 degrees to 360 degrees, or the full rotation of the circle. The position on the cylinder's diameter, let's say for instance 20 degrees, indicates that the color should be this hue. In this case, a sort of reddish-orange. Now, onto the y-axis. This is the vividness of the color, or its intensity, if you will, and it's represented in the form of a percentage from 0 to 100%, and is visually shown as the distance to or from the center of the cylinder itself. Now, finally onto the z-axis, or L, lightness. Lightness is shown similarly to S, saturation, as a percentage from 0 to 100%. Except the difference is it's visually shown as the height of the cylinder. Wow, that was a lot of information to go over, but I'm sure you're still probably wondering what was up with the rainbows in the beginning. Well, to answer your question, I find that when you deconstruct HSL in a rainbow, there are a lot of similarities to be found. The RGB color wheel is very, very similar to a full arcular rainbow. One that's a complete circle suspended up in the air. Because I mean, one of them is the visual representation of a color model, and the other one is an actual apparition of said color model in three-dimensional space. My point is, I find it utterly fascinating that you can go outside in the right conditions into your own backyard and gaze upon the big RGB color wheel in the sky. And that's pretty awesome. This has been David from Darkwater Films, and I'll see you guys in the next video on Color of Light.
Hey, you made it to the end of the video. We really appreciate you taking the time to watch our content in its entirety, and we'd like to reward you with an exclusive question, as just a sort of little one-on-one. Color is great, multifaceted, and multi-use. And at Darkwater Films, we use color a lot, and it's a little hard for an organization to pick a specific color they all agree upon as their favorite. Although, I'd have to argue that mine is definitely a nice solid red. However, color is more than just a tool. It's personal. And here at Darkwater Films, we would like to get just a little bit more personal with all of you. And so, we wonder, what's your favorite color? While it may seem simple, we want to know you all a little bit more, and something as simple as a favorite color is a great starting point. So feel free to let us know what color you think is your favorite down in the comments below, and why. Is there a story behind it? Is it the first memory you have? The color your nursery was painted? Or is it for another reason, like green being in nature and blue in the sky? No matter the reasoning, we want to know. And, while I have your attention, you should also make sure you're subscribed and have the notifications turned on. That way, you don't miss anything we upload in the future. If that doesn't sound good to you, try some of these videos on screen now to see if anything else might interest you. Well, this has been Darkwater Films, and we'll see you all in the next video.